he fucking emblemed his spell into the cosmos. So he bought time. It's not something that you were born with. Oh man. He cut her in half. Technically yes, but technically no. He just used her spell technically against her. This will be a story of spring. Age 15. During that time, for me, the concept or what future hold, something when they ever talked about the future was something so bright. I was born, cherished, blessed with the environment like any other. And I had the ability and aptitude and excelled more than anyone else. I was determined as a person who was chosen by fate. Knowing this to myself, I thought I had a duty. And I have a task to accomplish. To create something so beautiful. To manifest something so wonderful. Those feelings, those passions have thrown me into studies and made me into a studious student, and I did research and experiments day in and day out. Day in and night out. And that result resulted in this place. A dump. A dump where no ideal place would ever thrive or exist. No concept, nor imaginary, pitiful, weak, unfair. The pain from the chest rings throughout the entire body. I can't even move a finger, can't even move hand nor legs. It was painful. But the physical wound that was done by the assailant has already been healed. I was chosen to be the inheritor, skipping my father. The magic crest that I was honing at age 11 has come into fruition. The magic crest. この魔術回路は魔術刻印は魔術者が傷を負った際、半ば強制的に術者を解説させる。So the magic crest that the user held, whenever the spellcaster gets hurt, it forcefully heals the spellcaster. But that spell crest's function still has not activated. ジグ科の授業で聞いていたマナよどみ。I've heard from the curse course class of magic, of the disruptions of mana and distortion and 術者の神経、血液そのものを攻撃にした対魔術用の毒物であろう。It's to attack the mentality of the mage. It was to attack the blood cells and the what's the word? What's in our body? Vein, blood vessel. There we go. It was a physical attack that directly, strictly affected the blood vessel. It was poison for anti-mages. It seems that the time has rotated and the poison has spread. It seems that now that my magical circuits and my magical crest has both completely died. If that's the case, I can't antidote or take care of the poison myself. I need a third party to pull out the venom. The situation worsened each moment. My body started to become more weakened. And I am still in the middle of an enemy territory. My best option in this was a priest would detect an irregularity, call up some men, and a professor would come and save my life. The problem is that I wonder how long my body would last. And with that, it's awake. It's awake, huh? Awake. That is if 父の近くに見つからずにやり過ごせるかということだ。The most problem was run away from the assailants that my father has thrown. How to get away with it. That is the case. The basement that reeked of foul smell has almost as feels like the foul smell increased in twofold. The coat that looks nothing more than a coat that has been ransacked, scavenged from a trash can. The hair that looks like it hasn't been washed in many years. It seems that in this underground room, this basement room, was a resident of this child. Perhaps he looked at me and thought I could be of some cash, but it seems that the eye that was being assaulted by assailant, I was having trouble. It seems he or it has brought me down here. It seems it's still alive. Still alive. I can hear a noise that there's a wooden box filled with trash being rustled. I couldn't hide my uneasiness or my disgusted feeling. I was saved by this kind of existence. The fact and that truth itself has made me shame or embarrassed. That's what my first thought was. Treasure, treasure. Eat this. Eat. The young man has pushed something very hard close to my mouth. It was bread. It was a moldy bread that's already been hardened dry. It was wiping away the dirt with its dirty clothing, and it was trying to forcefully feed it to me. To be perfectly honest, what it was doing is the opposite effect. Even though my wounds were sealed, my internal organs and functions have been lowered and failing. If I were to eat any sort of food of this caliber, it would only hurt my stomach. It will not nourish, but it would lower my body function even further. It's delicious. It's delicious, so eat. Eat. I did not have the strength to speak, nor had the body to reject, nor strength. I just opened my mouth and I have tasted the bread that felt like rocks. After I've finished eating what was being forced, the child seemed satisfied and separated from the bed area. After this young man moves towards this building, he went through the cracks, and while he was making these laughters of creepiness, he disappeared. The anger that was towards my chest and the environment that I was placed that was so pitiful, I was quite angry and I couldn't stop myself. This is something that I cannot control and it cannot be helped. So I closed my eyes. In a few hours' time, everything will end. If the assailants were mages, it will be inevitable that they will pursue and take what's left of me. This place will be found, and I'm going to be murdered without hesitation, without even able to lift a finger. There will be no one able to save me. Even in this current situation, even if it's a god, even if there is a god, they won't pull it off. But the assailants never arrived, even after many days have passed. I sat there, slept on a very hard bed on my side for about 10 days. And 10 days of those hours, I've been surviving. My body is still in most of my body functions were paralyzed, but it seems that my body has gotten used to the environment around by now. Little by little, I've assessed the situation that I've been put in. Eat this too? No. Can I get some water? That the fact that this room was made right underneath the bridge was unfortunate fortune. Right, Gosei no Saiwai. A fortune within the unfortunate. These waters have unneeded particles or very nasty stuff, but it wasn't a water that couldn't be drank. Hey, you, when did you start living here? Don't worry, just eat. From my process, it seems that in the very early age, this young man has lost their parents and seems like living here ever since. these buildings, these structural このもの、この住処は it seems that this place, this living habitat, this living quarters were used by the parents that was trying to take care of this child. Whether it was abandoned by children or whether it was abandoned by parents or was it a lone child from the get-go was it a lone child from birth? The child's motor function or verbal function has limitations. It seems that ever since it was born up till now, there was not a lot of adults it conversated with. Perhaps your name. You should have a name, right? Huh? I was surprised. I was utterly baffled. The child that doesn't even know the concept of what a name is still existed in modern city, modern place, modern area like this. No. And even if that's the case, how was it able to survive all by itself up to this time? It's spooky, scary, everybody scary. Hi. This place safe, always safe. While saying those specific words, the child started to pat and pet the pendant. Caress the pendant in circular form while... a blue pendant. Yeah, the child started to patent it for the... that's... Even though I cannot use magic at this very current moment, even I know what that is. What the child holds is a mystic equipment or mystic code or mystic item that hides the present. It was a very antique, a vintage type, for sure. This was very far method, very old. It's almost as old as a witch that used to live. Yeah, almost a witch that lived in England. In this hidden house in the very black forest, in the very deep forest. It was a cursed item of sort. It was a equipment. Interesting. Yeah, so yeah, it's essentially is a prison concealment mystic code, but it dates far back into the England witch, like the hidden witch that lives in the very far deep of the forest, a cursed item. Ah, I see. And with that, no wonder there's no pursuers or assailants that are coming after me. It seems that this entire room, as of now, has completely... they're in a situation as if this room never existed. It's concealing its presence in the first place. Wow, that is indeed a treasure. Huh? But is it a remnant, an inheritment, heirloom from the parents? Or I didn't ask if he or she picked it up. But I've understand the situation where this child is now. the reason why the luck, the reason why this child was able to bring me to this basement was none other than that pendant's doing. And able to secure food and nutrients or supplies was the fact that using that to conceal its presence, snacking and sneaking off with as much as it could of the scavenge it could do. Yeah, it could do. Fortunate, unfortunate event, huh? Because of the existence of this pendant, this child, this young man could live in a situation all by himself, but because of this pendant, he cannot intervene, or he cannot he cannot talk. He can't even involve himself with anybody else. Because in technicality, he really can't be seen. He can't see from the societal view, after all. You are, I didn't know what to say to him. I don't know the words that should have been asked. So my word stuttered, and my word was slow. Okay, it's okay. Clean, treasure, huh? It's as if the child looked at me and understand what I was about to say and what I was thinking. He smiled and grasped tight on his precious pendant. Even now, if I were to look back, my heart still strangles. Additional few days has passed, and with many points, I've discovered something anew. I looked every day. I saw every day. Bridge every day. Huh? Yes. I've also realized it too, that he is the wandering drifter, the lone wolf that stood every time I crossed the bridge. That was the child. I was watching, always. I didn't know what he meant by that, and I'll probably will never know what his existence for me to him was. I can't say I knew, nor I'm going to admit that I knew what he was thinking. But it seems that to him, somebody that was crossing the bridge, that someone that's crossing the bridge, that concept itself seems very valuable to him and perceived it as such. He was unintelligent, but he was no fool. He understood his situation and where he stood clearly. First, he never really get out of the room. He never once tried to get out of the room. Because even if there is a pendant, if it were to go outside, he knew that there would have been a danger that I would be attacked by the assailant. And understanding and observing this, he never really tried to leave this or by my side as much. The 2 weeks, near 2 weeks and counting, these supplies of food was already prepped here in the first place. Food, food, food. What's wrong? What's the problem? No, no more. No more. But no problem. It's okay. Okay. I see. If that's the case, I hope so. Even though I've gotten used to even though I'm used to the new environment, my fatigue has reached its peak and far beyond. These hands and legs that doesn't move, this body strength that never returns. And besides, the value, the nutritional value that this child provides, these foods will not give me strength. If I can't be found from the assailants, I also cannot be found from allies either at the same time. And as a big, tired fatigue weighs over, I close my eyelids once again. I've witnessed myself wither like a dying tree, a withered tree. While falling into a dream, I... Wake up. Wake up. On that day, for the very first time, a small child's voice has woken me up. Food. Food. Eat. Eat lot. Lot. That's... My voice has interjected and shot out in awe or in surprise. That in the child's hand there was a basket full of bread. It wasn't those that was created, or it wasn't those that was being thrown away. It didn't have mold. It was a beautiful bread, freshly made. It's as if it was made right out of the oven. That's amazing. I'm quite generous. I mean, I'm quite grateful that you've given me this, but there's quite a lot of breads. You should bring other supplies or food, since you've already went outside after all. Eat this. Eat. And then I realized, why was there only hardened bread leftovers? Yeah, for his life, up till now, those scraps of bread, those molded bread, were his food and his luxury. I, who was blessed and was born in better environment than any other, I just didn't understand that concept. I didn't realize this very important fact, that I lived in a blessed environment. If that's the case, I will take the bite. Very easy to delicious. And if it's easy to eat, that's a wonderful thing. 少年は石につまずいたようにねだらに倒れ込んだ。両腕が私の綱元に使える。It says, the child, as if he were tripped on a rock, he fell towards the sleeping stand. His both hands, twigs were right next to my lap, and he falls. It's as if a child sleeps slumberly and taking a nap on a study table. Uh, what's wrong? From the very beginning, he looks unhealthy, so I've never really noticed up till now that his body that was malnourished, the body that was skinny to see the bones, and bodies that had remnants and bruises that was of an incident that he was beaten up. Uh, uh, Up till now, he was all alone, by himself. In order to obtain 2 weeks worth of supplies for two people, that itself was a hurdle that it was impossible to overcome, especially for him. And now, because of that pendant he had, he could go around people, and he could have gone into scraps and do things that was vile, but was not in the eyes of people. But unfortunately, here there was only supply for one person. There was only supply in order to live on one person worth. This child not once ever went outside. The person who, yeah, kept me. So if he had the pendant, yeah, if he were to go outside the pendant, this room will be found out and it won't be a hidden room anymore. And so, in order to protect me, he left the pendant right on top of the table side. In order to obtain these new supplies and these food, I've realized what he has done. He must have been looked down on, and he must have received many punishment and pain. And because he has hidden me or put me into because yeah, for the sake of me, he showed himself to the world, and the world beat the shit out of him. This child that didn't even have the stamina to even eat a full meal, it was added with violence and bully its body couldn't handle any longer. It, Treasure. Safe. Dave. Impossible. It's no matter what, it shouldn't have happened. Because that's so foolish. That's so stupid. This this kid was very intelligent. I know, unintelligent, but very smart. He didn't need to do what he needed. Yeah, he didn't need to do the option he selected. This child falls down, falls into the bed, and looks at my face while on the side as if he were to gaze upon the star. Pretty. 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 Wait. Hold on. Please. Wait. So pretty. Uh. At that time, what jolted through my heart was neither surprise, nor sadness, nor anger. It was the decisions that I made, the foolishness of my own, and what my thought process and my perspective of everything, and my foolishness indeed. From ever since here on out, even till this day, I was treating him like he didn't exist. I segregated him as something that should not be involved with. I looked through the future as a foolish existence that didn't even stand equally to my ground. Huh? Create something beautiful? I was a king that was born with, born with kingsmanship? A chosen genius? Surely, you jest. This nothing worth of this is but, all of this worth and value is nothing but laughter and jester. I didn't understand. I didn't understand the concept of what it means to create something beautiful. And even then, I only knew what the word beautiful described. I've never thought once what beautiful or what the concept of beauty in each an individual. To this child, value never changed. But because of this value and its foolishness, the reason that nobody cares he lost his life for. I am a human being that is in high class, and he was a human that was low. A noble and a nobody. Its existence was differentiated the day we were born. But wonder if I can do it. I wonder if I can put my life on a line where I don't even know the person in order to fill its hunger, bet its own lives to do what it did. I wonder if I can do exactly what he did, risk my life on the line without ever looking back, to do everything that it can in order to preserve that beauty. That's not something No. Of course I can. I moved my body that was slept for a very, very long time. Not because of recovery, but using my own will and my soul. I moved my body forcefully. I finally realized that this magical circuits and these talents that I've so-called obtained were nothing more than objectivary. I've lost, and I paid such a price. And even if I lost all those, I've still eaten this bread. That's right. The fact that if he can do it, I have to do it. If he has shown me, I must answer to his call. This poor man, this poor child that had nothing in his hand, that had nothing in Yeah, that had nothing in return. Just as he has given the greatest good, the greatest care that he's given me, I must aim higher. I must become stronger. Putting those supplies, food, nourishment in my mouth, I try to put cell by cell, try to make it. These times that I'm going to be wasting to mourn or to regret, to feel sympathies, those are waste of time. Because there is something that I need to do right here, right now. Only I can pull. This was an added reasoning. This reason was added after because this concept or this prophet, ishi, innen, this, what's innen? This feeling, this conviction that I've born through shouldn't have existed. This would not have happened in the lifetime of Kirishitara Wardom. But in order, I prayed and I swore, in order to live on, I've done what I needed. As a man who received more than this child could ever receive, as long as this life continues, I will value humans as best as I could and continue to do so. Kirishitara Wardom has shot the light of Silius Ulite. Silius Raito, yep. Silius Ulite, a great command seal. And with him shooting that, the foreigner god has disappeared from space, from this cosmos. We don't know if that it returned because it was wounded or it was a reactionary movement that was done by the unknown. Don't know for sure, but at this current time, as a result, the times and at the times of Olympus, everything has reverted and disappeared. Only remains in the balcony was master and a servant. I say balcony, but you know what I'm talking about. Just kidding. If I were to think about it just a little bit, it seems that I kind of aim too high, huh? What the hell are you laughing at, huh? You're laughing like you got nothing else in your hand. You're like a child who got caught with his, caught in his pranks. These legs cannot move. The master that has no existence from the chest and below, the servant hold dear. Well, hold it in place. While the master's body is cracking and crumbling, it also looks gently at the sky. Damn. So that's Silius Ulite, huh? That was completely different than the time of Overferia, you know that? Well, this is the original way to use Silius Ulite. Director Marasberi only told me how to use it, and me only. He said some things like, just in case, use that to save the world. Jeez. He's definitely a pushover, isn't he? While I was speaking in story, while telling a story, Master coughs. It sounded like it was turning into stone. A cough that was hard, distorted, as if ruffling of a dried up leaf. It was a sound that was a little disturbing. The spring that we used to had. The voice, the voice and the mannerism that spoke of spring sounded so delightful is slowly withering away. I see. Seems the actual Claudia commanders are... Yeah, I thought all the Claudia commanders were weaklings and pushovers. But... damn. That's quite impressive, that commanders of yours. This boss. It's a little, it was surprising. Me too. I had my respects for him too, but it seems that he was cautious. I was cautious too, but it seems that he was even more cautious than I ever was. He lived just for this research. He was a monster of a scientist, and as expected of one of the 12 clock tower lords, he was ridiculous. Master smiles and laughs it off. From the bottom of his heart, he has admitted defeat. It was a laugh that had no regrets. But if I wanted to talk about something surprising, that you working for Claudia so honestly was surprising of them all, I was planning that it would take some time for you to adjust or help out. The fact that right when you fell in and you immediately agreed to it, that time did you know? That time I've accidentally dropped my tea. Spilled my tea. I almost thought that you would be on the side of anybody that you've lost once. I thought you were easy, and I was trying to almost make fun of you for. Hey! I technically didn't lose, Besides, besides, the result was made by Poseidon. Yeah, the reason why I joined was the result that already made by Poseidon, alright? So essentially, Vordov is saying, yeah, if you just lose to one person, you just, be on their side. It could have been anybody. You're that easy? Like, I'm not that easy. And besides, I didn't lose to them in the first place. Well, Poseidon fucked up. That's it. Then, why is that? well, you know. The cloudiest head, the director, wanted to hear about you and wanted to talk to you. After all, he didn't want to know what the ability of Kirishita award him, but he wanted to know what kind of human you actually were. The reason why I helped him out for so long was, I guess, that reason. I did have a debt to pay, but then the proposition or the value is completely, yeah, that doesn't match. Did you see something that you wanted? That's not what it is. I've got my fair trade. I got your information during the time at the clock tower age, after all. Don't make me laugh. You? Born? Yeah, born to be the king? A sainted king? You, above all people, who is most cowardly and most sensitive and most thinking and the most stubborn dude would be befitting for a king, huh? Honestly, Dioscorois and Odoferia definitely didn't see you to the root, for sure. The servant knew that the words it spoke definitely hurt, but it definitely gave him joy from the bottom of its heart. So it laughed. It wasn't to insult those that watched him over or saw him through. It was as a price, a receipt. The fact that he was able to keep up this perfect facade to the very end. The master that looks up to the servant that's laughing very hard and maniacally, but enjoyfully. He looked up, even though its visions were blurred with so many mists, even though its even though its lungs were failing and struggling to breathe. It looked up and constantly said, "Hey, not gonna say anything, huh? Don't you have something to do? Something to say? Hurry up and spill it. I can at least hear it out." What I want to do, huh? And with that said, he talks about the what ifs of if he could have done. In order to revive each human cryptors, it needed a heat source. It needed a heat source. クリプターの体制には人間一人を蘇らせるための熱力、発射を出すための成果が必要だった。クリプターの運命、彼ら一人一人の召集にいて、その結末を得る環境を作る。ありたかもしれない。しかし決してはありえなかった。ここにレフシとした彼、その二人が登場者となると、人類復讐の旅である。So, right here. So he talks about a story of what ifs. What if, in order to revive one human being, he needed to have a heat source or quote-unquote efforts, values, or it's statements. It's essential quote-unquote value. Requirement of Excalibur. Well, I wouldn't say Excalibur, but like it's... In order to revive one human, he needed to prove something of great grand. right? And so the cryptors that are already dead, their fate was seen by the foreigner god, and their visions and their world point of view, the effort or the result, in order for them to earn value or earn result, the environment was made for them. Probably. But something that should not have happened. And it should never happen. Because if the savior of the world were to... if he were to race shift next to or with the savior of the world, if there's two people exist, then the restoration of humanity becomes a journey, not an order. So he talks about he wanted to create an environment where each and every one of their world point of view, each and every one of their results, their efforts were valued. He wanted each and every one of them to show off their, jazz, their best traits. And he also wanted to race shift next to the savior of the world. He wanted to be a stand-in character. So he wanted to journey in order to save the world together. Are you serious? You wanted to save the world together with those guys? Well, it would be a simulation, of course. The reality of singularity, the actual singularity, is not the scariest part. Gotcha. It gave Kadok trust, and for Odoferia, it gave laugh. It gave a laughter, and with Ataku, they were able to help each other out. Unfortunately, Beriru, we were not an eye to eye. I've been saved by Pepe many times. After all, he cares about people's feelings, and he is a righteous man at heart. Mr. Aro, that is. So yeah, it's essentially... Kara gave me trust, Odoferia gave me laugh, Ataku, we were able to help each other out. Unfortunately, with Beriru, we were on opposite terms. Pepe saved me a lot. He's the most worrisome when it comes to human emotions and human pampering, after all. It was quite fun in order to deepen our understanding, in order to understand their lives. But it was all within a dream. That after he showed his results, it was an illusion that would disappear forever. These world pains and these understandings and these sufferings that he held on was him and him only in this world. And with all that, you still had that attitude towards them? Is your heart or your emotions made out of steel? Huh? I couldn't help it. Because if I were to talk something like this, it'll only confuse them. He looks just like the dream. Yeah, it looks just like the dream I implanted or I witnessed. Just like the current situation, nothing can be taken back, no matter what. It will never recollide or intersect. But a journey to restore humanity. It's an interesting term if you think about it, the way you say it. If this wish would ever to come true, I really wish I could save the world with everyone at 80. He loved his friends and comrades, not as a leader, but as a friend. The servant replied, "It's the same damn thing, idiot," while holding its teeth. He said that the master here, the Claudia master, stands in the place exactly the same. Its breathing stops. It seems the last stars departs from his body. What are you doing, idiot? You're working too hard all by yourself. If it's you that's saying it, it's quite praiseful, but that's it is a little different, kind of. I was never alone. Every human is doing their best. Like hell they are. I wasn't trying to insult you like that, kitty. The reply never answered. A reply never come. His soul no longer exists in this realm. The servant looks up to the sky. It's as if it is sending off a flying bird. The back of its mind resides and floats something different, and the heartstrings vibrates of endless hatred that never dries up. That its own doing. It's not going to deny what it's done in the past. It's doing. As this heroic spirit, it does not regret its choice that it's made for for itself. The existence or the embodiment where I laugh at human and be arrogant and do what I do best, that existence will never change. This hatred towards humans, hatred towards gods, and hating the righteous path. The vile path that it prefers, it laughs as high as it could at its own evil, at its own self. But on top of that, even then, guess I was an idiot after all. Even if its entire existence, entire personality, entire lifestyle was evil. She regretted at the same time that there was something that it could have protected and etched. Within its spear at its head, a golden bird flies off. Not because of its own glory, but in order to respect this meeting, in order to prove and tell that it exists as a heroic spirit.